working. I hope so. Good day or good evening. My name is Martin Schweiger. I'm a patent attorney in Singapore, and I'm also a power lifter. And today is the Tuesday, the 4th of March 2025, and it's now almost 6 p.m. I take you with me on my daily walk that I do since more than a year ago. I'm in Kuala Lumpur currently, and I worked all day long. I always sitting, no movement. So I thought I really need to do half an hour fast, and I take you with me. I go from the hotel through a nearby neighborhood where the normal people live. I believe that you will like that, and it's a lovely neighborhood here. It's really good, and yeah. So, but it's so important for me to do my walk is like someone jogging, but this jogging is not good for my knees, I believe. Maybe I need to lose 20 kg more, and you know my plan anyway. Next week starts my 24 weeks weight loss journey with 0.5 kg weight loss per week, and today, Tuesday, is my water fasting day. And yes, I did water fasting, but I had to stop at 1 p.m. because I was intrigued into food, and so I broke fast. And that's not a big damage, because fasting is a journey. Sometimes it's easier than other times, and especially when I'm traveling, it can be quite difficult. Meeting clients and getting invited for lunch, then it's very difficult to say no and to insist on the fasting. Also can be quite weird. So I would recommend that you just do as much as you can, and there you go. Tomorrow is my dry fasting day, and I will just continue as if nothing has happened. Of course, it's more efficient if I do it as always, namely doing one water fasting day followed by a night, of course without eating and drinking, and then waking up and not eating and drinking until I cannot stand it anymore. And very often that is at 6 p.m. but I made it until 8 p.m. That would then be 20 hours dry fasting. Said is very efficient. Yeah. You remember surely I've had an episode some time back about experts on the internet, whom to trust and how to discern them from others that I wouldn't not trust. And I told you my principle is that I find out which one of the two sides that expert is following. There are some experts, they have a one size fits all approach, meaning they found out that something works for them, and that's a bit like having a hammer as the only tool, and then suddenly every problem looks like a nail that can be solved with that hammer. So that's one thing. And the second thing is, they are in medicine, those who go for what I call a motorbike mechanic approach. Means you look at the motorbike or the human body as a whole and try to find out what is the root cause of the problem. And others, they are just after solving certain symptoms which they declare to be an illness. I have an example of today. I met a young girl, a young man, 38 years old, and we talked about health. And I told him about my metabolic syndrome and with what it came, and so on and so on. And then he said, he's quite okay. He has just a bit of gout. I said, oh, you have gout. Yeah, I know already. When I hear gout, that's one of the warning signs for a metabolic syndrome. But there are other doctors that cure symptoms, and I would say that is a disease, gout, and it can be healed by giving the patient anti-gout medication. And that's exactly what I mean. There may be a medication that works against the symptoms of gout, which are, among others, joint pain. But gout is, what I see, is an inflammation. And when I hear inflammation, then I would also check, is there any other sign of a metabolic distortion? So I just asked him about his body measures. So he's 1 meter 73 centimeters tall, or from my perspective short, because (1 meter 73) is not really tall as compared with someone who is 1 meter 83 centimeters taller. And his body weight, surprisingly, was 94 kg, and he had a belly with a lot of subcutaneous fat, but you never know. And I let it sit there. So what I can tell you is, if this guy is not looking into his metabolic health, he will very likely at one point in time develop other symptoms of metabolic disorder. And it was a bit like the meeting with this person being a coincidence, because earlier this morning, I mean, I was in a hotel and I had some time, and so I switched on the YouTube, and then suddenly there was this video of Dr. Pradeep Jamnadas. I tried to spell it. Pradeep is P-R-A-D-H-E-E-P, and Jamnadas is J-A-M-N-A-D-A-S. And he's, I believe, a heart disease specialist, which is a cardiologist. And I watch him for a very long time. Actually, he was the one who brought me into fasting originally. Because it seems that, I mean, he's an Indian, quite skinny, but he promoted fasting in a very unique way. And what I heard today by him was a lecture, 1 hour 20 minutes long, about the different ways to fast. And he explained fasting from all perspectives. And he presented a case that was very surprising, and I try to give you the same insight from my remembrance. So there was a 45-year-old patient, and he had plaque in his heart arteries. And then he wanted to find out, Dr. Pradeep wanted to find out, why does this guy have plaque in his arteries? So he tested insulin, normal, blood sugar, normal, fatty liver, nothing, overweight, nothing, all good. So, unbelievable. So why the plaque? And he did further diagnosis and ultimately tested for gut health. And he found that this guy had a leakage in the gut where bacteria that usually reside in the colon went up to the small intestines, and from there they entered the large vein that connects the small intestine with the liver and caused inflammation, which then caused some antibodies or white blood particles to combine with LDL lipids and to form plaque in certain locations of the arteries. And he treated that patient by treating the gut health or promoting gut health, and doing that by giving herbs or herbal infusions, I mean a tea made from herbs and also herbs eaten, and then also some essential oils, and also probiotics. And that repaired the linings of the intestines, and that healed the inflammation of the body. And he found out by measuring. Now you know, measuring is important. He found out by measuring the hydrogen production in the breath after supplying sugar to the stomach. And that hydrogen production is a hint towards the wrong bacteria in the small intestines. And in total, he also promotes measuring body values, because that would motivate patients to stand the fasting and the weight loss. And that's exactly where I'm coming from. I need a measurement value that gives me confidence that I'm going into the right direction. And that's exactly what Dr. Pradeep is saying. And one of the most important measurements when it comes to fasting is the insight that the body is living on ketones at one point in time, because, as I said in earlier episodes, here's the crocodile water. So behind you have crocodiles. Interesting. Yeah, so under normal condition, the human body would feed on glucose produced from carbohydrates, while when there is no carbohydrates available, the body can convert triglycerides that stem from fat cells, which means it burns fat cells, or the content of fat cells. And that's what we want, right? When we want to lose weight. So and the ability to switch between the two different forms of fuel is called metabolic flexibility. And yeah, I've spoken about that article a few episodes back, that having a high degree of metabolic flexibility is a sign of good health. So yeah, you need to switch between burning glucose and burning triglycerides, which results in ketones. And I've shown that I have a ketone measurement kit, which is urine measurement sticks, that will tell you whether you are producing ketones that overflow into the urine or not. And I will go further into that. I just prepared to buy some needles for testing the blood from the finger, whether or not you have ketones in your blood. And also there's a breath analyzer that would find out whether you have ketones in your breath from the lung. Yeah, so, and the good thing is, if you can measure that you're producing ketones, you would know that you're burning fat, and that would in turn means that you're losing weight. And in my case, with my genetics make my fat being stored mostly in visceral fat, means around the organs in my belly, that I'm improving my metabolic health, because the visceral fat around the organs would present a tremendous load for the entire body. So while other people who have the fat mainly under the skin, subcutaneous fat, they not so prone to metabolic syndrome as I am. So in short words, I am especially dangerous. So yeah, this morning also I did as we talk about how we sewn up, I did a DNA test, a wide spectrum DNA test with several hundred values, and I'm expecting to have further insights into what my body says or does, because me being born as I am, and that would help me to address that better. I will update you. It will take about a month or so to get the result. Yeah. So my walk almost over. Today only 20 minutes. Better than nothing. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.